What's up everyone, Daddy Warbucks here, and today I wanted to showcase what I've been using for T13 speed farms, quick gem ups, bounties. From my experience, it seems like the Necromancer kind of struggles with any substantial speed farm, and there's a lot of people who have been trying to tackle that problem, and there's a lot of very interesting builds that have come up for the purpose of speed farming. None of them really kind of suit my taste though, because a lot of them end up sacrificing survivability for mobility, and it's just not a playstyle that I've been enjoying. So what I've been doing is I've been using a Rathma build with a few modifications to give it a little bit more mobility, but it doesn't sacrifice too much in terms of tankiness and damage. So what I've been using is 6-piece Rathma set, because obviously this is the build we get for our season journey. This is honestly the build that I prefer. We're using Skeleton Mage's Singularity, which I know Singularity using all of your essence makes it kind of difficult to maintain, but we got some things to try and compensate for that. The general idea here is that you're going to be summoning 10 Singularity Mages and trying to maintain 10 as much as you can. It's not so much like other Singularity builds where you're trying to, get to max essence and then drop them for these, huge empowered mages. With this build, it's just try to maintain 10. And in order to do that, for passives, we have Dark Reaping to give you some more essence per kill as long as you're using a scythe, and we are. And then we're using Devour, Cannibalize to constantly have that essence coming in. And we're also using Bone Spikes with Orlenas and Cubes. So there's a lot of essence generation. And that's really the core of the build. Bone Spikes to stun them, and proc Crisbins to generate essence, and you're going to be generating additional essence because of the Orlenas. Spam Cannibalize pretty much at all times, constantly get that essence coming in, and then you're constantly spamming the Singularity Mages too, because other than that, it's just make sure that you have Command Skeletons on so that you're getting the bonus from your Jesseth set. Bone Armor with Harvest of Anguish helps give you a little bit of survivability and some movement speed. Something else to help supplement our movement speed, we're using Fueled by Death. If you have a hard time avoiding standing and shit, you can switch this to the Cheat Death passive, but I don't really use it. I seem to do fine. Other things you're going to need for the build, the Nigel's Ring in order to keep your Singularity Mages up longer. This is a farming build, so we're using Nemesis Bracers. For our gems, we're using Enforcer and Bane of the Trap for damage, but I'm also using Boon of the Hoarder. And I'm using Boon of the Hoarder because I want to generate lots and lots of gold for, greater rifts and empowering them so I can level up gems as much as possible. Also, it gives a little bit of movement speed, and that tends to help. Something I do want to point out, I've been playing around with a lot of different builds, and I'm actually working on another video that I'll be creating later on this week. So although my bracers and my neck have poison damage on them, do not roll poison damage on yours. This is a physical build. You want physical on them, but I have no mat, so please ignore that. That all being said, let's get right into it. Okay, we're gonna do a quick T13 for just to kind of show you what the build is about. And again, this is not a Greater Rift build. This is strictly just for farming. You could take it to like GR60 and for some real quick gem ups and stuff like that, but generally this is just for rifts to collect death breaths, maybe have bounties for the mats, whatever. But it's decent. The general playstyle is to just make sure that you command skeletons on things so that you're getting the 400% buff from Jesseth. You hit stuff with your generator to generate essence, and then to stun everything and proc your Crisbins. And then you blood rush when you can. Try to maintain your 10 stack of bone armor, because that'll give you a little bit of survivability and movement speed. And then you just spam your Skeleton Mages and your Devour, and that'll keep you topped off on essence and topped off on mages, and you can just run around and everything gets deleted fairly quickly. It's not like other Singularity builds where you're trying to hoard all your essence and then drop really big Singularity mages. Because this is a speed build, and we don't have the tools like Reaper's Reps to really generate tons of essence. We're just focusing on maintaining 10. And it really doesn't matter because if you're very little essence when you generate them, because this is only T13 and the damage that they do have is enough to just delete everything. Well, hey, Trollians, I didn't even my favorites. We're not having the best rift here. I wish there was more packs. Make this go faster, but it is what it is. That's pretty much it. Hey, new floor. Maybe this will be better. Not digging the ghosts, but take what you can get. Okay. That was a fail. You just make sure you're using your bone spikes constantly to generate essence, stun things for Crispins. Also is going to be one of your biggest lines of defense because all in all the build only has about 35 million toughness, which is not a lot, but thankfully with all these pets running around you can stay relatively safe by letting them run up ahead, remaining behind so that the enemies don't get to you, and then your generator stuns everything, so if anything does manage to look like it's starting to get to you, then you just stun it, you command skeletons on it, and then you let your army just do its job. So again, it's relatively safe. Those death breaths. Where is all the bad guys? A skeleton strip there. I really wish Blizzard would fix that. Like sometimes they're like, nah, I don't want to attack that guy. Cool. And there you have it. T13, just a couple minutes. It wasn't the fastest rift that could ever be done, but it's not that bad. It's pretty easy play style, pretty quick to run through. I mean, honestly, the Necromancer is not the best class for speed farming anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully this helps you. If it did, make sure you leave a like on it. I'll see you in the next one.